Hey guys, it's me, Talia Arisa Gibson. You can call me Tag for short, and welcome to my channel. Like, comment, subscribe. Today, I'm going to be talking about the show, The Ultimatum, on Netflix. It's season 2, and I have some thoughts about the show. Have you watched it? If you haven't, spoiler alert, so you may want to pause and come back. But anyway, let's talk about this couple, Roxanne and Antonio. Roxanne is a 31-year-old founder and CEO. She's very ambitious and career-driven, very focused on work. And then there's Antonio, who's 30, and he has had a hard time kind of figure out his career. He's a freight broker now, I believe, and he's just really wanting to marry her. And he has issued the ultimatum, and it was his idea to come on the show because he really wants to marry her. She's not really sure if she even wants to get married at all in life, but also she's very apprehensive because he's not as motivated and driven as she is in her work life. And so she's kind of looking to see if there's someone out there who matches her energy a little bit more. And Antonio, he's just, he seems like a really sweet guy, but he's just kind of all over the place. I don't know if it's going to work out or not. What do you guys think? Honestly, sometimes I wonder if she just really likes the ego boost that he gives her because he's so just into her. And I'm wondering if she just likes that feeling that he gives her. But I don't know that she's really in love with him. It doesn't come across that way to me. And he's just crazy about her. But at the same time, I think he's a little bit too crazy about her to the point where I would be a little bit worried if they break up. I just don't know how he would handle it emotionally. Would he spiral out and start abusing liquor or drugs again, or whatever it was that he was abusing in his life? But I don't know. It's just a little bit toxic to me. Then there was Lisa and Brian, and these two were a trip from the jump. I have to say, Lisa, who's 32, Brian, who's 29, they're a cute couple. She's very successful in her career, and he's doing pretty well, but he's not at the same level of success as far as, I guess, salary. And it seems like, in a way, it might kind of bother him that she makes much more than him. I don't know. That's just kind of the vibe that I got from all of it. But they seem like a good couple. She's very, a little bit of a hothead, I would say. I think she takes things and just kind of blows them up a little bit from what I saw. To bring him on the show, she's the one who's giving the ultimatum. She's ready to get married. I think they've only been together for 2 years, but she's ready to get married. I believe she has a daughter already, like a 10-year-old child or something like that. But I don't know. It just seemed like she wanted to come and give this ultimatum, but she didn't want him to embrace the whole experience. Like, she really freaked out when he was showing any interest in another cast member. And so she just didn't handle it well at all, but she's the one who wanted to come on the show and give the ultimatum. And so I just think it was a little bit too much, and just the way that she was with him, the way that she was so aggressive in her tone and her physical actions to me, I don't know how long they'll last if she blows up like that often. The craziest part is they didn't even get to really indulge in the experience because she got pregnant. She took a pregnancy test, I guess. Maybe that's why she was so emotional and just all over the place, because she was having hormones or things like that. But of course, they're not going to tell us how they're doing until after the final episodes air. But I'm really curious to see, was she fully pregnant? Or, well, I guess you can't be half pregnant, but was she really pregnant? Did the pregnancy go full term? Do they have a baby right now? I'm just wondering. Or was it something to get off the show because she didn't want him to fall for someone else. I don't know. I don't think she would do that, but I'm just really curious to see. But yeah, I don't really have a lot to say about these two because they weren't on the show long. I will say that he had another interest in another castmate, and it would have been cool to see if they had stayed on the show, if there would have been a connection between those two. But I guess we'll never know. Ryan and James. These two were high school sweethearts since the age of 16. They are very young, only 24 years old. They've never lived together. She said that he is the only relationship that she has ever had, but it doesn't sound like she is the only relationship that he has ever had. But then I wonder, how does that work? Because they have supposedly been together since the age of 16. So I don't know if he's counting like young teen relationships or if there was some in between. Now I will say, again, spoiler alert, because I said this earlier, but if you're still watching, then that's on you. But anyway, he did mention that he cheated on her at some point, which is interesting to me. But I don't know, like, I feel like she is selling herself short by staying with somebody who's very indecisive. And the thing about it, I think that James is a great guy deep down. And I feel like there's probably a bond that, of course, we can't see just within a few episodes because they've been together for 7 years or so. But I will say, I feel like he needs to deal with his traumas from childhood. It's not something that she can heal in him. He has to seek that healing. Like, she can be a listening ear and be a support, but she hasn't experienced the life that he had. And so it's hard to give advice on something that you don't even relate or understand to. So one of the things that I wish I would have heard her say in some of their conversations was, what do you think about going to therapy? Like, if you need me to go with you. But I think it would be helpful if you sought out some therapy to really talk through and deal with your issues. Like, I think that would have been cool to hear her say. And maybe she has, who knows? But it would have been cool to hear her say that. But the thing about it is, Ryan had another connection with another castmate who I will talk about here in a minute. His name was Trey. And I don't know, like, they had a really similar upbringing. Growing up in a small town, both had really good, healthy relationships with their family members and had happy childhoods for the most part. And so they just both seem to want the same thing. So that's interesting to see her building a connection with another cast member, and him not so much. But I don't know, like, it just seems like he only showed that he really, really wanted to be with Ryan. And I'm talking about James again, her actual boyfriend. It seems like he only showed that he really wants to be with her when he saw that someone else really saw how amazing Ryan is. Now, I don't know Ryan, I don't know, but I'm just going based off of what the other castmate Trey said about her. And so, I don't know, like, to me, I feel like they don't need to get married. I feel like James needs to heal. He needs to seek some therapy, because even seeing the interaction with him and his mom, like, his mom is kind of cold and is just doesn't really show emotion. And so, I don't know. I think that's too heavy of a burden to put on a woman that you're trying to be in a relationship with. Like, she can be there as a support for you and help you through it, but you have to get some other help because it's deep, like deeply rooted. So I don't know where they're going to go. I don't know if I would encourage her to stay after that long. And also, he is very defensive about certain things in their conversations. And I don't know that she has the capacity to be there for him the way he needs. So I feel like there's some error on both sides, but they're very young. And she has only dated him. And I don't know, I feel like she's just wanting to bloom a little bit, and who knows where it's gonna go. Let's talk about Kat and Alex. Now, I will say, to me, this couple was the most awkward to me. I honestly don't even really see how they ended up together, but maybe I just don't see it. Like, I would really want to be a fly on the wall and see how they interact just in their day-to-day life with no cameras, because I don't know, like, I feel like he's just kind of there and very emotionless. He doesn't really give a lot, just to me, in conversation, even just hearing him talk to other people. But it could just be that he's kind of awkward on camera, because I can't imagine that they've gone 2 years and she wants to marry him. She's the one who gave the ultimatum. She wants to marry him. So I can't imagine that they've gone that long and it's been that awkward, but it just is. Like, I just don't see it. And I don't know. They both experienced other people during the show, and the girl that he was really compatible with as far as career-wise and driven and personality and all those different things, they ended up bumping heads to the point where she didn't even care for him or like him at all. And then he started to supposedly realize how great Kat is, saying that she's kind of a quiet challenger. Like, he wants somebody who challenges him, but he realized that Kat does. It's just in a quiet way. But I don't know. Even his mom said that she feels like he needs someone who's a little bit more in his face and more of a challenge. But I don't know if Kat even really listened when the mom said that. Like, to me, that should have been like, oh wow, even his mom doesn't feel like we're compatible based on just what she knows about her son. I don't know. It's just, I feel like the mom kind of liked the other castmate that he was kind of interested in, Roxanne, but it just didn't work out. So I just don't know. It's just very awkward. Like, I don't really have much to say, but if you watch the show, what do you think of this couple? I really like Trey and Raya. I think Trey is a great guy with a lot of values and morals, and he knows what he wants. He has a great career. I believe he said he's an engineer. And he really has a lot of care and respect for Raya, and even the other interests that he started to have with Ryan. He seemed very just honest and open and also respectful. And even though I think it was so hard for Raya that Trey was developing another connection, I appreciated how honest he was with her about it, and he didn't try to downplay it or hide it. Now, the thing about Trey is that he's very driven. He always has a plan for his life, which is great. But Raya comes from a different upbringing, and I think she hasn't gotten to experience as much. And so I think she's at a space in her life where she wants to have experiences and live a little and just kind of get beyond where she grew up and all those things. And I understand that, and maybe it's kind of been like a late blooming for her to be able to do that. But she's only 25 and he's 29, so she is still very young. But I'm just thinking that maybe she hasn't really had like a clear path or direction for her life. Like, he has a career and she just, I think, was a waitress or like kind of worked in something where it wasn't really a career yet. And so she's still trying to figure all of that out. And the thing is, I think Trey would take care of her and be the breadwinner and all those different things. But I think he needs to listen to her, because I don't think she feels fulfilled or like she has reached her goals for herself. And maybe she's still trying to figure out what those are. But I think that's where he has to listen to what she's saying, because I do believe she loves Trey, but I think she needs time. And she's only 25. He's 29. And of course, you can get married at any age when you feel ready. But I just don't know that she's ready. I do believe that she knows that Trey is a good guy. And I think that's where the battle is. Because she even mentioned some of the things with their intimacy and issues like that. Like, I wonder sometimes if she's fully, like, attracted to Trey physically, because she was immediately attracted to the other castmate, Brian, who didn't stay on the show for very long. But I feel like they might have had a pretty good connection if Brian would have stayed on the show. I don't know. Who knows? But I feel like there's a battle there, and she has to be really honest with herself about that part of it too. And also, I think Trey has to realize, like, he wants to live outside of the city, build a house and start a family. Like, he has this plan set where he feels like, I'm financially ready, like, I'm ready. And I feel like it's going to come down to, he needs to just realize that they don't align in what they want. And I feel like she needs to do the same. And also, I don't know, I would hate to see her not stick with Trey because he seems like a really good man for her. I sometimes think women think the grass is greener or that they're missing something. And sometimes guys can act that way too. Like, they're afraid to just lock it down or commit because they think, I might miss something. And the thing is, you could miss something, a good guy that you're already with. And so I don't know how that's going to end up. I feel like they're going to break up. I don't know if he's going to end up with Ryan, but I do feel like he's going to take a different path. And I don't know, but we'll see. You never know with shows like this, like, things could go a whole different way. But I was hoping that they would get it together, but they just don't seem to align, unfortunately. Well, guys, that's it. That's all. I hope you enjoyed my opinion of the show. There's still, I think, 2 episodes left, the final decisions, and then maybe like a reunion or something like that. But I'm just really curious to see how things end up. I think it's a interesting show. I don't know that I would recommend any couple to do it because I feel like if you're asking for an ultimatum, it could potentially backfire. And in this case, I think it did for some of the couples. But yeah, I mean, I think it's important to know what you want and that for your partner to be honest and know what they want as well. And I think it just really comes down to whether you're both ready and if you're willing to wait and how long you're willing to wait and all of that, you know, like, I don't know. Sometimes it's not so good to pressure things into existence, you know, because it may not be as genuine as if you just let it naturally happen. But I understand not wanting to just wait around. I think both parties should have conversations about what they really want in their future, even if it's not necessarily together, but like, what is it that you really want? Like, do you really believe in marriage? Do you really want children? Do you really want to do these different things? Like in the case of Roxanne, she has almost said pretty much like, I don't believe in marriage. And I think he's just been trying to change her mind. And I don't know if that's wise, but yeah. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this video. As always, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and of course, hit that bell notification so you'll know when I post. Until next time, bye.